Hi and welcome back to Beyond Numbers. When I started this channel, I decided it wouldn't be just about stocks. It would also be about revolutionary AI models that will change your life. And I'm gonna live for it. I'm gonna show you some AI model that will help you today. And I'm hoping you can use it correctly. I'm hoping you can use it the same as I use it. By the way, my name is Oria. I work in marketing and I try to learn every day new AI models that I can use and improve myself. Okay, so I did promise you AMD recovery. Okay, so I did promise you AMD, and we're gonna go over that company stock. We're gonna listen. So this is Notebook LM. It's a really cool AI model because what you can do, you give it sources. So you see I pasted text of those recaps of their earnings, what they said in conference call and everything, and I give it the website, the AMD website. If you can see right here, and what it does, it can actually teach you this AI model. I'll put a link down below and you can use it, but it's really cool. It's called Notebook LM, and it actually makes an audio for you to summarize all what you gave it, all the data and information. So we're gonna listen to it together, and because I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not recommending you buying the stock. I'm just helping you understand it better and helping myself too, honestly. So let's listen together and then we'll go over the chart together and yeah.
Okay, wow. You really weren't kidding about wanting a deep dive on AMD. You've given us, let's see, their company website, financial reports, even some really in-depth investor analysis.
Wow.
This is going to be fun.
Yeah, it's definitely a smart move on your part, I think.
Yeah.
AMD is really making waves, in the tech world.
Right.
And I think it's fascinating to see how their position is evolving.
So, okay, let's unpack all this, right? What's the most important thing that you think we need to understand about AMD and where they stand right now?
I think the key takeaway here is that AMD is in this period of transition.
Okay.
They're seeing this explosive growth, especially in areas like data centers, but at the same time, they're facing some challenges in their more traditional markets, like, gaming, for example.
Yeah.
Which makes them, I think, a really interesting case study for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, let's start with the good news then, right?
Sure.
Their financial reports, they're showing some pretty incredible numbers.
Yeah.
Like a 24% revenue increase year over year, hitting $7.7 billion.
Wow.
That's going to be making some investors pretty happy right now.
It is impressive, yeah. Especially, I think, when you consider that they achieved this growth with a market cap of under $200 billion.
Right.
Which, that's a fraction of what the giants like NVIDIA are valued at.
So they're punching above their weight.
Yeah, I think so.
Does that make them a potential hidden gem for investors, maybe?
Potentially, yeah, I think so. Especially if you're looking for value in a market that often feels, I think, a little bit overheated.
Right.
But, it's important to remember that every investment obviously carries risk.
Of course.
It's about understanding those risks and then deciding if the potential reward is worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's kind of dive into that data center success story, right?
Sure.
Their revenue there jumped from $2.3 billion to $3.9 billion.
That's huge.
It's incredible. What's driving that incredible growth?
I think it comes down to two words: AI and cloud computing.
Okay.
Data centers are really the backbone of all these technologies.
Right.
And the demand for those services is just skyrocketing.
Yeah.
And AMD is very...
I'm hoping you can hear that, by the way. I didn't actually check that. I'm hoping you can actually hear what they're saying, but it's really interesting. It's really cool, this model.
strategically, positioning itself to capitalize on that trend.
Yeah. And they've also scored like some major partnerships, right? I mean, we're talking about the heavy hitters in the industry.
Yeah.
Microsoft, Google, Amazon, even Tencent.
Mm-hmm.
What do those partnerships tell us?
I think these are much more than just, names on a press release, right?
Right.
Like, think about the Google partnership.
Okay.
It goes way beyond just supplying chips.
Okay.
It actually gives AMD access to Google's, deep expertise in AI and platforms like TensorFlow.
Okay.
Which is, a really powerful advantage, for sure.
Wow. Yeah. And then their operating margin in the data center segment is up to 30% now. I mean, so they're not just growing, they're doing it efficiently.
Yeah, exactly. That's a key indicator, I think, of financial health.
Okay.
They're proving that they can scale their operations while maintaining profitability.
Right.
Which is, crucial for that long-term sustainability.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we've got the data center success story,
right.
But their gaming revenue took a pretty big hit, right?
It did, yeah.
A 59% drop year over year, to be exact.
Yeah,
that must be causing some concern over there.
It's definitely a challenge.
Yeah.
A big part of that drop, I think, comes from lower sales of those semi-custom chips.
Okay.
These are essentially, chips that are designed for specific clients.
Okay.
And a lot of those clients, a lot of those chips are used in gaming consoles.
So if console sales are down,
right,
that directly impacts AMD's revenue.
Precisely. And the gaming market as a whole has been a bit soft lately. It's a cyclical industry, right?
Yeah.
And I think we're kind of seeing a dip in demand after that pandemic boom.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to remember that AMD is still a major player in the gaming space.
So it's like a sign of trouble or just a temporary setback?
I think, the gaming market is known for its ups and downs.
Right.
And, while the decline is significant, AMD is still, releasing new products.
Right.
They've got a very loyal customer base.
Yeah.
It's, I think it's a little bit too early to kind of write them off in this segment.
Okay, yeah. We also saw a decline in their embedded segment revenue, right?
Yeah.
Down from $1.1 billion to $900 million. Mm-hmm. What's happening there?
I think similar to gaming, this is partly due to some inventory adjustments that are kind of happening within the tech industry as a whole.
Okay.
But I do predict a turnaround for embedded in the next, quarter or two.
Okay.
This segment, it includes chips for industrial applications, Internet of Things devices. Mm-hmm. It's expected to benefit from these, broader tech trends.
So we've got this kind of, interesting contrast here, right?
Yeah.
Explosive growth in data centers.
Right.
But setbacks in gaming and embedded.
Yeah.
How does this all stack up against their main rival, I guess we could call them, NVIDIA?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, NVIDIA is like the current leader in the AI chip market.
Right.
With a market cap of over $3 trillion.
Wow.
Yeah, that's more than 15 times larger than AMD.
So like a real David versus Goliath situation here.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But you mentioned earlier that NVIDIA's high valuation, that could also be a potential weakness.
Yeah.
What did you mean by that?
Well, any company, I think, with such a, high valuation,
right,
it's under this immense pressure to constantly meet those, very lofty expectations, right?
Right.
And a single misstep could really send their stock tumbling.
Yeah.
And NVIDIA's success, it really hinges heavily on companies continuing to invest in those, really expensive chips. Yeah. And we've seen some big companies like Google,
right,
announce cuts in their capital expenditures, or CapEx, as it's called.
Yeah.
Essentially, they're reducing their spending on things like, new equipment and infrastructure.
Exactly. And those CapEx cuts can really have a ripple effect.
And by the way, building their own chips with other companies.
Back throughout the entire tech industry, right? If companies are tightening their belts,
right,
they may be less willing to shell out, top dollar for NVIDIA's premium products, right?
Yeah.
Which is definitely a risk factor to consider.
So you're saying AMD might actually be in a stronger position?
Potentially, yeah.
Because they're not as reliant on those massive CapEx deals?
Yeah, I think that's a possibility.
Okay.
AMD is known for its competitive pricing and its ability to adapt really quickly to changing market conditions.
Right.
And that agility, I think, could be a major asset in this kind of, volatile economy that we're in.
Yeah.
Look at how they've weathered these recent capex cuts, right?
Yeah, they haven't been immune to the impact, obviously, but they've fared better than some, I think.
Okay, yeah, I'm starting to see why you find AMD so intriguing.
Yeah,
they're a bit of an underdog, right?
Yeah, they are.
But they're playing their cards strategically, it seems.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like watching a chess match unfold.
Exactly.
If you look closely, they aren't really an underdog because, I mean, maybe they miss on revenue in their most recent earnings, but they grow revenue so rapidly. So calling them an underdog is, I don't know. We'll see. But remember, always when the leader is amazing. I mean, NVIDIA, what it did and what it got, it's crazy. But one day of DeepSeek dropped them. And I'm not saying DeepSeek isn't lying and they're not trying to take your information and they're not like spending more than they actually said of 5 million. I couldn't believe it. I don't actually believe it. I just believe having good competition in business is important, and sometimes second company in the competition, which is currently AMD, because let's face it, nobody else is there. Not Intel, nobody, not Google, I don't know. Nobody is in this race except mostly NVIDIA and AMD. So being second doesn't always mean you can't win. Slowly, quietly. Shh.
And the next move in AMD's game plan, I think, is a very bold one.
Okay.
They're going all in on the AI revolution.
That sounds pretty exciting.
It is, yeah.
But what does that mean in practical terms, right? Like, what's their strategy for winning in this, AI arena?
I think they're taking a multi-pronged approach here.
Okay.
First, they're developing these, specialized chips designed for AI workloads.
Okay.
These chips, like their upcoming MI400,
right,
are designed to, power everything from those massive data centers to those smaller edge devices.
Okay.
It's about being present at every level of, the AI ecosystem.
So it's not just about making the chips. It's about understanding how those chips fit into this like broader AI landscape.
Precisely.
Yeah.
They're not just a component supplier, right?
Right.
They're aiming to be a thought leader.
Okay.
And a driving force in the development of all these AI technologies.
Wow, that's ambitious.
It is, yeah.
And their second strategy.
Integration.
Okay.
AMD is really pushing to integrate AI capabilities across their entire product line.
Okay, so give me an example.
Yeah, so imagine laptops.
Okay.
That can anticipate your needs,
yeah.
right? Learning your work patterns.
Okay.
And then, optimizing performance based on your usage.
Yeah.
Or think about self-driving cars. They can make those split-second decisions.
Right.
Based on real-time data analysis.
Yeah.
All powered by AMD's AI chips.
That's incredible.
It is, yeah.
But how far along are they, in actually making that vision a reality, right? Are we talking years down the road, or are we seeing some of this AI integration in their products already?
I think they're making tangible progress.
Okay.
Some of their latest processors already include these dedicated AI engines.
Wow.
It's still early days.
Okay.
But, they're laying the groundwork for a future where AI is kind of, seamlessly woven into the fabric of our digital lives.
Yeah, and this all ties back to their data center success, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
If they can kind of establish themselves as this leader in AI chips,
right,
that strengthens their position in that data center market, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a synergistic strategy.
Okay.
Success in one area just fuels growth in the other.
Right.
And, that's, I think, what makes AMD so compelling.
Yeah.
They're not just chasing the next big thing, right?
Right.
They're building a foundation for long-term success in this, rapidly evolving technological landscape.
All right, let's shift gears for a minute and talk about kind of the elephant in the room.
Okay.
AMD stock price, right? It's been on a bit of a roller coaster ride lately, dropping 50% in the past 10 months.
It has, yeah.
I even saw someone call it advanced money destroyer online. Ouch.
Yeah, investor sentiment could be pretty fickle.
Yeah.
It's easy to get spooked by those short-term fluctuations.
Right.
But it's important to remember
we sometimes love those small fluctuations.
That stock prices, they don't always reflect the underlying fundamentals of a company.
Right.
And, in AMD's case, their fundamentals have actually improved.
Okay.
During the same period.
So you're saying the market is like undervaluing AMD?
Yeah, I think that's the argument that some analysts are making. They point to AMD's growing revenue, their expanding margins,
right,
and their strategic investments in these key growth areas like AI,
right,
as evidence that the company's really on the right track.
So what's the upside potential here, right? Could we see AMD's stock price rebound, in the coming months, maybe?
Some analysts believe it could double in value within a relatively short time frame.
Wow.
But of course, there are no guarantees in the stock market.
Right.
It all depends on, how investors perceive AMD's progress and how that broader economic climate evolves.
Right. So what about the flip side?
Yeah.
What's the most pessimistic scenario for AMD stock?
I think even the most cautious analysts still project significant growth for AMD. They predict that share prices could reach between $221 and $277 by 2028.
Okay.
Which is, still a very respectable return, even in a less than ideal market environment.
Right. So no matter how you slice it, AMD seems to be a company worth watching, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not without their challenges, obviously.
Right.
But they're making bold moves in this really dynamic industry.
They are, yeah.
It's they're a surfer, right?
Right.
Riding a massive wave, navigating those ups and downs with skill and determination.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And like any good surfer, they know that the key to success is staying focused, adaptable, and always ready for that next big swell.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah.
This has been a fantastic overview of AMD's current position.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
But there's still so much more to explore.
Absolutely. We've only just begun to kind of scratch the surface.
Right.